Hello, it's Christine from the channel Christine and Celeste, and today I would like to talk to you and introduce to you, if you don't know it, a French oracle. Now, I learned cartomancy and tarot in the English-speaking world, so I am not somebody who has a lot of French decks. It took me a very long time just to buy the Marseille. Would you believe this? I live about an hour away from Marseille, but although not all the Marseille decks come from Marseille, but it's not a tradition, although it's my own countries, that I learned first. So it's taking me time to go through the multitude because France is a very strong oracle creating country. There are so many French oracles. It's crazy, the amount of them. And as you know, I have more cards from the English-speaking countries, but I've noticed a few games along the way, or cards, and like les cartes divinatoires d'Algariel, which is really rocking my world right now. I love doing spreads with it and looking at things from a different perspective. It's refreshing also. It's taking me a little bit away from tarot for the moment. It's a bit refreshing to look at a different perspective. But let's stop talking about me. Let's talk about this oracle. I know very little about the creator, Dominike Duplaa, although I know he's a man, because Dominique can be for a man or woman in France. The spelling of the name seems to be foreign, but I really don't know much about this person. This oracle, I will show you, that's the box, so it's a talk box that won't last very long, I suppose. It's from the Gange editions. Now, I looked straight away. It's 57 cards with instructions booklet. I looked straight away on Amazon US and I found it. It's a bit more expensive, obviously, because it's an import, but you know, that's the way it is normally for us in Europe. So, yeah. This is an oracle based on so many things. Numerology, sacred geometry, very, very strong too on Jesus. Now, right now when I'm shooting this video, the Jesus thing is going around, so I won't talk about this, but Jesus as in, well, you know, it doesn't bring the church with it, Jesus, right? There are commandments, allusions in it, you'll see anyway. It's basically a Mediterranean deck. It's the birth of Christianity deck, but it's also all the science, the Greek science, the Egyptian science, what else, Hebrew, tree of life and writing, and Arabic writing, and Persian, and it's just, I think I'm forgetting some because it's so rich that I've known about it for years, but I don't have the intellectual knowledge to decipher everything on a card. So this is not going to be a walkthrough. This is really going to be a first impressions on how I deal with something that to me is so heavily based on secret geometry, numerology, and science and religion in a way. The cosmos and God that I have to go to with my feeling and what I feel about the deck and the cards. So let's show you the cards. So that's the title card, and that's the backs, which are so pleasing, right? This blue, it's deeper than what you can see. I don't know why my camera makes it lighter, because it's a deep blue with this gold sign. And there's another card about copyright, because this is a very much copied deck. Like all popular deck, it's widely used in France. I joined the Facebook page about it, and everybody seems to be reading for love questions, when I'm very surprised. But why not? But I feel, although it's a deck you can read for anything, I feel it's so much deeper than this. But I should say it's not love questions, relationship questions, because love, yes, that's what I feel this deck is about. It's love, and it's not love and lie like most tarot with, thin young women with long floating hair and long skirts and whatever. It, which, each to their own. It's love as in God's love, universal love, the love that we have difficulty understanding as humans because our thoughts are limiting, and that's the way it is. And I think that's one of the, well, to me, that's one of the reasons why we're here, to learn about love. So let's try not to be too heavy with this. This is the booklet. So it's in French and in English. French this side, English on that side. There is a book coming with it. Unfortunately, I could not find a translated book in English. So I will only talk about the booklet. I can show you the book just so you know. But if you look on Amazon or any platform where you buy, you will find that the deck shows up, and then you can see the book, right? So that's the book. So what does it say? It says, the Oracle of the Triad consists of 57 cards representing concepts that have been overpowering and concerning man since forever. This deck helps to grasp material problems inherent to our terrestrial dimension. It is also a mirror which reflects the soul, thus enlightening anybody on a spiritual quest and self-realization. Yes, I feel that's right. Everyone carries within themselves the answers to their own questions, regardless the matter or plane of consciousness. Yet often we forget to look within. The Oracle of the Triad helps in lifting the veil on this cosmic dimension in which we dwell, body and soul, and that shines inside of us. Each card was conceived according to the symbology of various religions and philosophies, whether ancient or more contemporary. The resulting image is the synthesis of several symbols relating to the intrinsic value of the card, thus making the Oracle of the Triad a very special deck, both in substance and in form. That's true too. This deeply symbolic game is perfect for both beginners and professional readers. It is a highly powerful game that offers to unlock the doors to any inner quest. So after this you have some spreads, the triangle spread, the triad reading, and the cross reading, and then the card interpretations. So let's start with the cards. And what I've done too is that I have paired some cards with the major arcanas of my Marseille deck, because I have to tell you which Marseille deck. It's the Dao, because there's something about this oracle where it goes back to source, and there is something in the Marseille that goes back to source, right? And I thought they really resonate with each other, although the art is very different. You'll notice that the Triad Oracle has some sacred geometry that seems computer generated, and then sketches on the cards. So there's two different styles. The cardstock is, how can I put it? Not very good, to be polite. It's very thin. I don't know how long they will last. This is the latest edition. If you're lucky enough to have an early edition, there were, I believe, 5 blank cards with them. I don't know if the cardstock was different. I etched mine black already. You can't see because I have my Marseille with it. So let's start with the first card, and I'm only going to read from the booklet. The point of this oracle, and I'm going to show you the last card too, is to go from Alpha to Omega. So it's like the Fool's Journey, exactly like in Tarot. And I take it like this because my basic understanding is from Tarot, so it helps me learn when I can apply it to oracles. So the first card is number 1 Alpha going to 57 Omega. If you can understand French and read the book, you have such deep description of every number in their sacred element, which is it's going to take me a long time to comprehend everything. So you have Alpha, the beginning. There are a lot of symbols here. I think this deck can be taken in 2 ways. Or you go deeply into each symbol and then, you know, make a synthesis of it and to understand the card, or you just go intuitively too. When I look at this card, for me, of course, it's the beginning, so I hesitated. Is it the Fool or is it the Magician? I think it's a bit of both to me, because it's the initial spark, but it's also, you can see some tools here. Things are already constructed, and I felt maybe it's more Magician, but because the Magician is young too. You know, he might be skillful, but he's young, he's starting with all his stuff. He's got all the elements. I feel Alpha has it too. What does it say? Beginning of a cycle, start, novelty, new. So I hesitated between the two. I wasn't sure, but I went more for the Magician. And I don't know, I might change it later, right? If I look into the book in French, they say that on the top it's the celestial realm, at the bottom it's the earth realm. This card is based on sacred geometry, the feminine at the bottom, the masculine at the top. That's the sign for Alpha. Obviously you have here too the, how do you call it, the star. See, I have a blank and I won't find it just like this, but anyway, all kind of geometry that you can follow the path of it. And you can see here, you know, we used to learn this in geometry at school, didn't we? And there's a kind of, it's really like coming from God, isn't it? And it's like the man. It's a picture of a man in a way, standing and starting and finding the balance, I feel, looking at this card. But it's also the creation, because you've got all these math up there. So it's the 2 realms, feminine, masculine, celestial, earth, that really shows the initial spark, the beginning. Then card number 2. Let me try and put it more straight if I can. I'm seeing it reversed, so it's not easy. Isolation. So it's obviously, once again, the separation, right, between, if you want, heaven and earth, the sky and earth, solitude, depression, It can be jail. Of course, it can be jail. You're in prison. But at the same time, I don't find it all negative, and I'll tell you why. Because sometimes you need to be in this isolation to remove yourself from a situation. And sometimes you can't help it but being on your own. But you have to see where you are in here, because if you're in that structure, obviously it feels like a cage, so it feels like a prison. But I also feel like with this here, like these are they called line walkers? You know, when they walk on this rope above buildings and yeah, the crazy thing they do. I also feel a bit like this, and having your balance and maybe being on your own to gather your thoughts and look at your limitations. Mm. Then you have Delta. So clearly this is, they say it's the card of God. But to me, it's more the clairvoyance. But you can see the little white dot here. That is probably God. And the pyramid, the eye, the all-seeing eye, and how would you call these? The sparks, I suppose. And it makes again that shape of the star. Let me see if I can find more about it. Yeah, it's the Trinity. So of course it's number 3, which is a very important number for this deck, because a triad is 3, so the whole deck is based on the number 3. As I said, it's very strong on numerology. Very interesting deck. But to me, I thought the High Priestess was really relevant with this card. It spoke to me more. But you know, it's a first impression. This eye sees everything: the past, the present, the future. So you see this, but at the same time there's the white dot. So is it because you're linked to God that you have this all-seeing eye? It's very deep. Yeah. So number 4, lies. So it's about betrayal, hypocrisy. I don't know if you know Jean Cocteau, but the drawings here are a bit like Jean Cocteau. He was a French poet and filmmaker. Well, he did so much. He took photography, he did so much. And that was absolutely his style of drawing. And you can see here yeah, I'll do it with that. There's 2 people, one here and one there. One is a bit hidden here. You have here, is it the trident? Neptune, yes it is. It's Neptune's trident. Here it says mensonge, just like the French, so there's no English word on for the name of the card. I don't know what that is. Sometimes I can't even read. The writing is not the easiest to read, and it's often not in French or in English. So, but anyway, you still have the laurel here. So you are seeking the truth, and you could take this, for example, as a sword going through the eye to make you see the truth, or maybe you see as shutting your eye. It seems the faces seem to be a bit tattooed all over too. So there are a lot of things to go with if you want to read it intuitively. And even these 4 black dots, there's an F here. You can see so much in it. It does take time with this oracle to understand it and see everything. But obviously you can read it just like this: lies is lies, betrayal. You don't need to go into the card. But it's interesting because there's so much. It's a study deck, and when I talk about study deck, it's a deck that will make you go to Google, look further into all type of things like geometry and numerology and religion and science, and that's what I call a study deck. But it doesn't mean that it has to be difficult to read, because lies is lies. That's easy. But you can go as deep as you want with it, which is even better. Water. Feminine principle. Creativity, fecundity, as you can see. That means waters in Hebraic language. It's pretty obvious, the color blue, so I did put the Empress with it. I think it goes really well together. It talks to me. What else can I say about it? It's about cleansing too. You wash, you wash in water. Everything. Let's say, try and think everything that water brings. It helps the soil being fertile. It washes away the pollution. It washes away a lot of things. It's very feminine. It can be extremely strong too, because sometimes the sea, for example, can be strong water. The current, it can represent the current. So you can apply it in all different perspectives. Once again, roots. That's the tree of life, so it's an inverted tree with the tree of life. So I'm not going to go through the tree of life because I half understand it anyway. But obviously the roots, really talk to me. So it's about being rooted, getting a project going, the foundation. Also, it can be the past. If you're talking about ancestors, doing your family tree, this could be a sign of the family tree too. I'm trying to get this straight. So once again, plenty of images. It depends what you are reading for, what subject it is. One of my favorite cards, I find it so strong. The door. So obviously the door is, the doorway, the opening. You go through an opening, you enter your one way and you go through, and then you arrive in a different way. It's like a transformation going through a door like this. What does it say here? Oh yes, there's the signs. Okay, there's the moon, the water. I can't see the ink. So there's the ink crosses. The black pearl symbolizes Christ. That's the Holy Spirit. And the rose is passion. So you see it's full of symbols. There are plenty of other things too on this. But when you go through the door, it's obvious that you're going on a discovery path, that there will be an evolution in the situation, or maybe you walk away from it. So once again, depending on what cards are around it. Nadir, and that's the card that made me buy this deck. Because it's just so minimalist, and at the same time, doesn't it say it all? Oh, my screen is a bit, that sun is straight on it. Let's see if I can change this. Oops, sorry about this. Yeah, that's better. Let's see if I have to change it again. So imagine you're in a complete dark, or you're looking at the sky at night and you see the first star, and that's what it's like, this card, Nadir. Nadir means, it's a scientific term, it means the lowest point. So it's not, it can be a brilliant card and it can be a very dark card. So it's about darkness, about loss, about magic, because about goal. When I look at it too, it's about a goal. Whatever happens, you might be going through a really difficult time and you're completely in the dark, but you do see that light at the end of the tunnel, and light at the end of the tunnel. I know it's not in a book or anything, but to me, it's also, first you go through the door. Remember, you're on a journey. So you go through the door and then you see, it's like dying and going through the tunnel and seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, and you go to the light, isn't it? But on earthly terms, I thought the Hermit it made me think of the Hermit when you're looking for your own light. I liked it. But sometimes giving correspondences like that is not enough, because the Hermit to me is not going through the tunnel, but this Nadir card definitely is. So it's just a learning tool. Wisdom. You can see the pyramid, the moon, the Egyptian eyes, the third eye. So it's about honesty, confidence. Also pyramids, it's about the home too. That's not on a book, but to me, although it's a funeral home in Egypt, but it's a knowledge home too. So let's say library and scientific home, maybe a laboratory, something, to search for the better, a structure that helps you improve and follows the stars and follows the laws of the universe. That's quite a powerful card too. I think, what else can I say about it? Yes, it's also about consciousness, but everything in this deck is to make you closer to God, so it's very geared toward this. Number 10. Success. It looks like the 10 of Pentacles. That's the first thing I saw, and these little signs here to me looked like dollar signs when I looked at them. And you do have here the letter saying, congratulations, you just got your exam, you passed, you got the laurel, plenty of coins. So it's money, you get your diploma, your certificate, a promotion, you achieve your aim. I think that's already good. So this is more biblical. Temptation. So it could be your partner. It could be danger because, well, you know, the apple, the snake, and all that. So this is a card where I was saying it's more drawn, and it's beautifully drawn. Sex, obviously, because we're still in that biblical surrounding. So on earth, temptation is often sex. And it's 1 and 1, so it's 2, which is the duality. Seal. Seal is, it's the seal of approval. That's it. It's approval. It's an agreement, signature. If you have to sign a contract, it's done. I also think, to me, it's keeping a promise, because it's like a seal with a friend. If you promise, then you keep your promise, or your friend will keep their promise. Let's say you've lent them money, they go to give you the money back, they will. All type of, it's alliance. It can be authority, because that's what you could think of as a seal too. When how can I say, people in power used to, in the ancient time, used to write letters. They would seal the letter with wax. So that could be that too. There's a lot of Hebraic letters once again. So this is God once again in the middle. And all the planets here. So there's a lot once again to study in this card, and you can see that the center is white and it's surrounded by yellow. So it's very sunny feel to this card. Penitence. So punishment, pain, sentence. It also feels like self. You see, this man, I suppose it's a man, is not facing us, is just showing his back. So someone who doesn't want to show his real face, who he really is. Somebody who's ashamed and is trying to hide. There's quite a lot on this card. With this simple drawing, it's absolutely, I find it exquisite. What other keywords are there? Oh yeah, it's also taking an event. If it's an upsetting event, just taking it, and as gracefully as possible. So 14 is the man. I have to find the woman to show you, because they're a couple, obviously. Where is she? So the man is number 14, the woman is number 25. And together, I like the way it goes. It's a shame there's borders, right? It'd be even better without borders. Yeah, I had to edge my borders black, because straight away I could see that the black was chipping straight away, even before using it. The quality of the card is not fantastic, but it's such a strong oracle that I couldn't say no. So the man represents the man, obviously, and the woman represents the woman, and everything that goes with it there. The sun and the moon, everything. The red and blue. Yeah. I find that very interesting, half the face is like this. I'm going to put the woman back. where she belongs. And the next card is love. And you can see it's a different type of love. It's not love exactly between a man and a woman, although it could be. But it is, I won't say Christ love, but higher love, really. It can be a devotion love. What does it say again on the writing? It's a bit hard to read sometimes, this writing. Oh, and on the book too, what they did is that they link each card to a part of the body, which is really interesting. But honestly, I don't know why it's not translated. It might have been, I just can't find it for the moment. So... Right. Oh, these four here indicate the four directions. It indicates, I have to move on, I'm only at card 50, I'll have to do it in two parts. Four directions and the four elements. Oh, and that's Christos, so that's Christ in Greek. So as I said, there's many languages in this deck. And the white ribbon here signifies obviously the purity of love from God. So mutation, I put here the Wheel of Fortune because what's interesting here is this little drawing, and it represents life. It's like your birth, and then you take a different path, come back, go down, go back up, right? But you still have this arrow where you want to go. So where's that? Well, when I saw this white rectangle, I thought, oh, this looks like death, right? So it could be. It's not, I don't think it's written in a book, but to me, as you know, I don't always, but it's a change anyway, and it's progression. Also, with the maze here, you can get lost. You can see, you can get lost, you can get entangled or obsessed, because to me there's an obsession about it. I know this because I'm a little bit obsessed with mazes like this and labyrinths. So, and isn't that the same with the Wheel of Fortune, that you go round and round and you have to find the center? So that's why I put the Wheel of Fortune here. Energy. Well, the red walls really do show energy. The sun with all the planets around in orbits. Then the red line here. So it's health, isn't it? Vitality, power, strength. It could be the strength card. I hesitated, but to me, strength, I only see the negative side of strength. I never had it. It's funny, in all these years of reading tarot, I never had the strength card in a positive manner. It's not a card that I gel with, and yeah, it's not really my card. So anyway, it's true that it could be the strength card here because it's very solar. It's radiating, and what else can I say? Yes, it's the energy, the red here. It's the energy going from above to below. And this here made me think of an air vent, on the wall. So if it's the first thing you see in this on this card, maybe you have to say to the person, stop burning energy like this, because you need a pause, you need some air to take in some air, right? It really reminds me of air vent. I know it's gonna be a long video, but I can't go fast on these. It's it's too dense, and I don't even, I only say the bare minimum on it. Science. So I did put the Emperor with it because to me the Emperor is the man of science too. You can see all the sciences here and all the planets. Here it's how do you call it? Sorry, because I read in French and I speak in English. It's not the easiest thing to do. It's not coming back, the word alchemy. That's it. It's words for alchemy. I think that's the sacred square. Well, you have so much on these. But you can see that astronomy comes from the eye straight on, and there's +00 here, which I saw it straight away. So it depends what you see first on this card, that will inspire you to read it in a certain way. But obviously anyone who works with science, medicine, chemistry, physics, even astrology. I learned recently that French doctors, I can't remember if it was in the 17th century, I've got to double check, had to, through their courses, they had to learn astrology. There you go. Prayer. So obviously this prayer could be church, but not only. If you pray, it means you make a wish. You're trying to manifest something, or you're trying to send healing thoughts to someone, or you're trying to make something happen. Once again, it's the Trinity, right? The 3 candles. What else does it say in the book? So it shows here with the black that it's rooted, so you have to root your prayer to have it manifest. It's a beautiful card once again. It's also praying to help the dead go to where they have to go. Cain, mistake. So once again, biblical. So it's the sin, the failure, the guilt. What I liked straight away, apart from the biblical obviously picture, it's that these two here, it seems 2 figures, and I'm not sure this one is, but one seems to be dead, coming here, right, or walking away, you decide, and then going through that apple, and then is dead on the ground. Or is it that he had the apple and then committed the sin and died and whatever, and then he died and then he's walking to where he has to go. Yeah, quite a powerful card. But as I said, there's quite a few biblical references in this deck, so if you don't like this, maybe it's not a deck for you. But it's not a religious, I don't feel it's a religious deck. Well, no more than, look at it, the Marseille, right? I chose to put the Pope with benediction, but it's a little bit reducing in a way, because the way this person is showing us her hands, I think it's a woman, but I'm not sure, where you can see all the lines on it, and the lines on the hand show the life, the love life, the health. It gives you the character, it gives you so much. It's like telling someone who you are in just one gesture. So it's more than just benediction, it's revealing yourself to me. Or you're hiding, maybe you're hiding your face and you think you're going to hide, but actually you're showing everything because you're showing what's in the lines of your hands, which is really interesting. So it does say it's trust, baptism, blessing, ceremony. But you see, to me, I read it a little bit differently. You've got all the signs here too on the card, which are is there Alpha and Omega? Yeah, Alpha and Omega. That's it. I don't know the others. I'd need to look but yeah, there's a minus and a plus of how do they call it? Sorry, it's so rich. I don't know, it looks like the lemniscate, 1 minus and 1 plus, so I'll have to look into it a bit more. But that's for this card, benediction. I can't see my screen anymore. Yeah, choice. I put the lovers here because for me it's often choice from the Marseille, right? Because there's 3 people on the Marseille. It's less of a choice on other decks when there's only 2, but this one is. Oh, and I absolutely love this card. It's you see, to me that's a compass, and when you walk the compass moves and shows you if you're going north, south and all that. Also here I had to look up the word. It's a boundary stone. Well, I know the word in French, but I didn't know in English. So it seems that your road is marked ahead. So is it that you already pre-planned to go there? It's very interesting. It's like a map, you know, it says you're here on the map. Yeah. There's much more to say about it, but I have to move on a little bit. Peace. Serenity, tranquility. What does it say on the card? I can't read it. Let's see what word it is. Jerusalem. Yeah, where all the faiths are. You can express all your faith in Jerusalem, although this is the heavenly Jerusalem, because the earthly Jerusalem is not that peaceful and quiet, unfortunately. But it's really the sign of peace. The papyrus shows it's like a message, isn't it, of peace from God, basically. Wealth. So this is the cornucopia, full of fruits. There's money. There's branches here with leaves. So an easy card to decipher, which is about money, richness, fortune. Another thing too I saw here, I don't know which body part they linked it to. It looks like the spine. No, they didn't. They link it to genitalia, there you go. But I saw someone's spine here too. You know, you don't especially have to follow the book. I mean, the book is good because it gives you a lot of different perspectives, but then it's your impression. So we already talked about the woman. So guess where I put strength? Yeah. Because to me only, that's the strength card. It's always showed up. If strength shows up, I'm as terrified is maybe a big word, but wary as much as if I get the tower, to tell you the truth. And I know I'm one of the rare people who see it that way in the tarot, but every time, because the message of it, it's like, oh girl, you're going on a roller coaster, you'd better stay strong. That's what this card says to me. And I know it's got a lot of other meanings, but for me, when I read for myself, that's what it says. And this is exactly that. And once again, look at, it's the maze here. And it says labyrinth. It's beautiful the way it's written. And I love the lettering here. Because, oh yes, I forgot to say all the lettering, because he's into calligraphy too, and you can see that. I find it exquisite. So here, so you get lost in this labyrinth, and when you actually find the end of it, you still have to get rid of your demons here. I shouldn't use this word because that's part of the controversy for the moment, but you know, demons as in your own shadow, let's say, that's how we call it, shadow. So you have to face your shadow before going to the light, right? Very interesting. So it's an obstacle, a delay, you know, you will be delayed. I like it, they put exam too. Yeah, it's a test, it's an exam. And sometimes exams feel like that. It's a long way to get the paper at the end, isn't it? Doubt. So yes, it's the question mark. And you see what I like here, I don't know why they did that, but it looks like the doubt goes into the earth, so it nourishes the earth where your feet are planted, and it gives doubt to your roots. And when you have doubt about your roots, that's how I see it. It's like, where do I come from? Do I really belong in this family, and why did I choose this family if you believe in this? And it triggered a lot of things in me. Oh, trigger, I shouldn't even use this word. Sorry. I ask myself a lot of questions looking at this, and to me it's the head here and here the feet. So in the head it's full of questions too, going round and round. It's really confusing. And they do put destabilization, because that's what I feel like, that your roots are not solid, it's just water. But it could be good in other ways. Protection, I chose here the star because I see my star as a protection. So you have here plenty of symbols. Again, let me look in a book. 28. So it's about security, comfort. So Greek this time, Greek letters, key and rho, which is the start of the name of the Christ. Then you have Alpha and Omega. What's at the top? Salus, which is oh geez, I don't know. Salvation. And Nike, which is just do it, which is victory in Greek. So you can take it too as asking for protection, or getting support from people around you, getting spiritual protection. There's a lot here. Elevation, 29. So it's called, but it's not called elevation, it's called ascension in English. So you're going up, right? It's all positive. It's a very interesting depiction. It's like you're going in a pyramid, which is normally your place of death once you're dead, and then you're going up. So you have to look at what kind of elevation you're going through here, depending on the cards around, because it can be a departure, it can be a spiritual ascension, it could be a kundalini rising, depending on what you believe. Once again, but it's all this deck is about finding God. So I think I will do this as the last card and then start a part 2, because I'm already nearly an hour, so I don't know, it's just so rich. 30 is forgiveness. And yes, you can see here the water going over the fire. Once again, the black line. Every black line that goes up here is going to God. But here it looks like it's a message of peace from God. It's a bit linked to the prayer, isn't it? So very peaceful card. You're asking for forgiveness. If it's church related, then it's a confession. Well, Catholics anyway, we go to confession. Apologizing. That's important, to apologize. And he's got his eyes shut, so that could mean something to you too. That he's not looking at the situation and he's looking towards the past. There's so much from the tarot perspective you can get from this. Also, you can see that the black mast here is crackling the earth. So, but the white, I don't know if it's a sheet of paper, is just going to cover it maybe, or you have to see how it moves for you on the card, if I can express myself like this. So I'm going to stop it here because we're getting to an hour, and then start part 2. Thank you for staying with me, and I hope you are intrigued by this deck, because it's quite one-off. That's what I feel anyway. So I see you in part 2. Bye-bye.